All right.
Don't call them breakout meetings. That brings me back to breakout rooms during Zoom
During
college,
some calls.
which were
Oh
the
my god.
worst. The worst thing.
How should we call them
way.
then? Department meetings.
Department meetings, yeah.
Okay.
Mm,
All right.
creative
Well,
blocks.
welcome to March.
Hmm.
So I think we've been making good progress. I just want to start off by saying that. So thank you everybody for what you've been doing. Maria's not coming this week. She's taking another week off because she has a new job. Everybody clap for Maria. Let's go.
Nice.
So when she sees this later, she'll be honored that we clap for her.
Did you get the mermaid gig?
She did, and then she got another job at REI.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So hardworking individual. Okay, so yes, we've been doing very good. So you guys were plugging away at stuff last week, so that was awesome. Andrew was submitting sound files. Zach and Kevin were doing organizational stuff, or like file structure, getting ready for the battle system. Right? Is that a good way to describe it?
Organizational and a little implementation.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, you were doing like the troubleshooting the other day. And then Nick and I met briefly yesterday to talk some story ideas out while Maria's gone. So I think that was good. But does anyone want to go over anything in particular about what they were doing they want to share? Sick. So
Well, for coding, it's not really shareable because we
yeah, that's
haven't
fair.
gotten anything functional. But we did want to. Did you already ask Nick?
No, because Nick didn't respond yesterday, actually. So maybe you can
Respond to what?
So in order for us to,
I think it was 2 days ago, Nick. Sorry.
Yeah.
yeah, but if we're using Git version sharing tool,
Mhm.
we are also using LFS. I think we discussed this in
Yeah,
the past. I
large
don't know if you
file
remember.
storage.
Okay.
So that allows us to store larger files, such as some of the static files, like animation files,
Mhm.
and some textures and stuff. Are there ways for us to minimize the file size of these static files without compromising the quality of the?
More or less, it's kind of like minimizing the file size of really anything else that's big. You can only do it so much while keeping quality. Like I know Maya, for instance, has a thing called optimize scene size, where it like basically cleans out a bunch of junk, and lowers the file size. The actual mileage you can get out of that kind of varies, and sometimes it can fuck your stuff up if you don't do the settings correctly. And then there's also, it's honestly like part of it's also just like general housekeeping stuff. Like if there's a texture for something that is really tiny in the background, we don't need a 4K texture set for that, you know.
Yeah.
But something that's more hero, obviously, like Salmon Rise textures are probably going to be 4K. So it's very case by case. But yeah, there's ways. Everything shouldn't be like these giant, massive things.
Okay. Just like letting you know, and
Yeah, totally. Worth keeping in mind.
And another thing with that is every time we push a change to Git, it like if we modify an asset, it'll use that whole asset's file size worth of storage. So if we have like, for example, Salmon Rise model, and we like iterate on it multiple times, each iteration will like multiplicatively use our file storage. So we were saying like we'd probably want to just have placeholders for all the assets that we want, and then once we want to actually put it into the game and into like version control for Git, we'll want to have like as finalized of a version as possible before we put it in.
Okay. Or actually, would it make sense if I understand what you're saying correctly, like if whenever you make an edit to something, it'll recompute everything in like the folders for the game. So if the Samurai folder has 20 versions, you know, we're only using version 20, you're saying that it will compute the size of every version, right?
It's just for any files that you change. So like if
any files that you change, gotcha.
Yeah, so if you change like one file, like if you have Samurai textures and you like change one part of it, it'll re-add that entire file's like file size just for the
Yeah.
texture file.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you do
Okay.
want to test on your own branch and not push it, that's totally
Yeah.
fine too.
Okay. Okay.
So we're
That's
not
probably the
saying
way
you
to go.
can't test with
Yeah, I was gonna
yeah.
say like there's a level of iteration and like trial and error that's gonna be unavoidable on like everything. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Just something
Testing
to
it
keep
on-
in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Makes sense.
All right, sweet. Is that everything from you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, dope. And then Andrew, what have you been stirring on recently? In terms of, so you submitted 3 files, which are all sexy.
Yep.
I know Zach and Kevin and I were listening to them again the other day. Nick, did you listen to them by any chance?
I have not gotten a chance to listen to them yet, but I
Have
do
you listened to
plan
any
on
of them?
I
They're
listened to
so
the one
good.
that he sent during our meeting, like the last meeting.
Nick.
Listen,
You're
you
missing
know,
out.
I'll put one on right now.
Okay. Yeah, let it wash over you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I've been doing the revised version of the village stuff
Mhm.
still, because I have the 2 versions, and I think they're still just a bit too slow, I think,
Mhm.
for what you guys are looking for.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do a little bit more of an up-tempo and energetic take
Mhm.
of the village stuff, and I mentioned that, or you mentioned that you want to integrate maybe the Salmon Rise theme throughout it, but I won't be getting to that until
Yeah.
until after like we have like the samurai theme, I guess. And so once I have that, I'll go back and reintegrate it. So for now, I'm just gonna work on the vibes.
Okay.
And,
At what?
try and- yeah.
I'm not saying you have to do it like any specific order or timeline, but at what point do you think is appropriate to do like character themes and stuff like that? Or like, and also, what would
that's
you
a-
need for
that's
that too? If like there was like,
Yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, since I haven't really done like a full scope of a game and like done like linear stuff, it's interesting because typically I would just be like watching the film and stuff and going from beginning to end type thing. So I think all I would need is any sort of like concept art and all that, as well as like an outline of the story, and that way I can kind of piece together kind of a linearity through that, and so I can kind of trace a path, I guess, and kind of have a beginning point and like and places to kind of hit. But yeah, until in terms of theme development, I can work on like sketches of it and like send you it, and so once you have once I have like the approval of it, I can kind of put that theme wherever and do whatever I want with it. But yeah, in terms of development of it, I kind of want to see like some visuals of like the character, and then just kind of like an outline of the story, so that I have a sense of the story, I guess.
yeah,
So,
I will.
yeah.
I will then direct you to the Milanote that I made in the resources tab.
Okay.
So I think I showed you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But we can go over that again if you want.
Okay.
So
Totally.
that's got like character concept as well as the beginnings of like the story outlines. and
Okay.
stuff.
Cool.
So
Cool. Yeah. So I'll go back and look at that then,
Okay.
and
Cool.
look through all that stuff. But then I can I'll get started on that as well as the village vibes, so that we
Cool.
can nail that.
And then additional question.
Mhm.
So I guess right now like the village like theme as its own thing is like what you're developing, right? But then there's like different like areas in the village, kind of. So there's like a dock section. I can show you if you go to the concept channel.
Yeah.
You see that like kind of rainbow picture?
Yeah.
So that there's like different sections of the town. So there's like a dock in red, and then there's like a shops area that's like the orange tier, and then there's like a residential area and like some farms, and then there's like a sacred temple like at the top of the town.
Cool.
So I'm not saying like
So-
make a different thing for like
Yeah.
every area, but maybe
Well, I could.
you could, but I think
try
it'd be
it.
nice if like the town has like one unified theme, but like the way that it's played, I guess, is a little bit different depending on like where you're at. 'Cause I think the energy might be a little bit different in each area.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
totally.
can be developed like as we go, because I think like maybe that can be something like as we build out the town and we get like a feeling of like with like a physical feeling of like how
Right.
everything looks and
Right.
people or like little NPCs interact and stuff, like
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
maybe elaborate on that, like via the sound.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. Do you have any idea of like how big or like how long it would take to traverse like any one of those little subsections, like going from the dock to the
so
don't
it's
know,
like
you know?
tiered. So
Okay.
the lowest tier is the smallest, and the higher tiers are a little
Mhm.
bit bigger. But I would say
Okay.
like it would take anywhere from like on like 20 to 30 seconds to get from like one side to the
Okay.
other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah. No, I was just trying to get a sense of like traversal so that I know
Yeah.
like just because the only reference point I'm kind of making there is like playing any of like the Pokemon games and like you go from
Mhm.
different you go to the different locations and there maybe the music constantly changing kind of vibe, you know,
Yeah.
depending on like which area you enter. But
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I can totally do different tracks per location. I think that actually would work better
Mhm.
to differentiate, like if you're at the dock versus if you're in like
Yeah.
the residential area
Yeah.
kind of vibe. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, a lot of this will be a lot clearer once we have like
Yeah, for sure.
working gameplay kind of thing, just so you can test how things are feeling. So this is all kind of conceptual and pre-production, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but I can definitely be working on it because it's really not a problem
Okay.
to pre-production that. So
All right, no
yeah.
problem. And did you listen to any of the playlist stuff that I sent?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I have. So that's
Was that
super helpful.
helpful at all? Because I
Yeah,
think
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
totally. No, it's a good
Okay.
reference point just to see like the general vibe of it. So I'll be working on that as well.
Because like you came in like a little like later obviously than everybody, so like we've been working, or at least we've been like talking about stuff for like
Yeah.
a longer time. So like
Right.
I gotta like keep reminding myself that you don't have as much information. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
make it this, and I'm like, that's not helpful. Like I have to like explain a little
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, as
Yeah.
long as
Yeah.
you know it's slowly getting clearer. I think that's good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Totally. Cool.
All right. So with that, I think we can move on to what Nick and I were working on a little bit. So Nick, actually, I guess I'll start with like some of the thematic stuff that I started talking about yesterday. So, um, so Mo is like, he's like a victim of circumstance in this game, right? So like he's like good at what he does, like in his village and stuff, but he's not like the chosen one. He's not like anyone like particularly special. He's just like a guy who's like just good with a sword, right? And then like this thing that like happens to him is like purely by chance. There's no prophecy or anything. He's just like the one guy who like survived and like he got sent to the future. Um, so I think that um, thematically, like the game is kind of like about like what do you do like in the wake of loss, and like what do you do as a victim of circumstance and stuff. Um, so like a couple weeks ago, I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, well, it's kind of about um like circumstance or fate, I guess, but because he's just like a guy, it's kind of about um like randomness, I guess. So like instead of like fate being like deterministic and like everything's like meant to be a certain way, like a lot of things like in life are just kind of random, and like a lot of the times they're not like good things that happen. So um I think that like we can explore through a variety of like different characters that you meet in the game, um like what uh randomness might offer to people or like take away from people, like not through the fault of like anyone's specific action, but sometimes just like bad things happen. And I think like all the people in like the future are kind of uh at the mercy of like the bad guy who has like taken over the world in like the last like 50 years, right? So that they don't really get a choice in that. um and then like kind of like I was talking to Nick about this idea of like randomness um still allows for like hope and stuff like that. So um Mo can still save the day. um but Nick and I were talking about uh how to like integrate randomness into the story. So I had pitched the idea to Nick to kill Robert, the character who's like aggressively normal that was gonna be in the party. Um, so like one day, like he's just like with your party, and then he just dies. Like one day you wake up and he's just like, oh, like he had a heart attack and died or something. And um, Nick,
Who's Robert?
so Robert is like one of the like the party characters, right? So I think we might have explained this like a very long time ago. But
When
Robert,
you say party, are you talking about like the party in your game
Ye-
or like a party like
no,
instance?
like the party in the game, like so he's like one of your partner characters. Um,
And
and
what is the purpose of killing him off?
so um, Robert is like the one guy who like doesn't really have much bad stuff going on in his life. He's just like, oh, I just want to like go on an adventure, right? And the joke with Robert is that he's like pretty much useless, because he's just like a really normal guy, but
He is a guy. Like,
yeah,
it's worth noting he is a human man.
yeah,
He's a normal human man.
he's just a
Like, in
guy,
a
yeah,
button-down shirt and khaki slacks. Like,
yeah.
he's
So
just a guy.
he's got like the khakis with the zip off shorts on him. So like Nick and I were saying like, oh, like maybe one of his moves is like he takes 2 turns to like unzip each of his short legs, and then like he does like a crazy like kick or something. But so originally Nick and I were thinking like Robert could be like a Magikarp, like he's really bad for a long time and then like he just power scales like crazy. But Nick and I were saying, or we were like workshopping, like if Robert is like representative of like this one person, like who in spite of like the shitty stuff around him, like he's still like pretty normal and like has like a decent time. So I think if we were like writing in a way where he's like kind of endearing, that like it would be sad if he just like died, and not like he takes a bullet for anybody or like he sacrifices himself. It's just like one day he just dies. Um, just to kind of like emphasize like the randomness of, or like I guess how cruel like randomness can be. Um,
I
and like
wonder how that could be conveyed better than just complete randomness. Like the audience would be like, what the, you know?
well, yeah. So it is like damn, that's sad. So I think like that's kind of the point is like sometimes like things like happen that are like outside your control and they're like very sudden. And the thing is um like from a mechanical perspective, like you're taking away a character that has like a utility in the game. So Nick and I were also like thinking about like how to address
We didn't want like party member, like a player, to be leveling up Robert in their
Yeah.
party a bunch, and then the story just kills him off because random, and then that player's
Yeah.
sunk. Like, that's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
So we didn't want that to happen.
So we were thinking that maybe he's kind of like a NPC addition to your party, and then we schemed a way for like him to be like a secret unlockable character, like after like way down the line, like you find a way to like resurrect him. So we can get into that, but Kevin, I want to hear more about your thoughts on like what you were saying about
Yeah,
the randomness part.
if I'm like imagining, I'm
Mhm.
like playing the game.
Yeah.
I see this pretty useless character. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this is interesting, and I just play the game without really thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then like as I keep playing and progress in the game, he suddenly dies, and my initial thought is gonna be, what was the point of this character?
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, yeah.
So I think if it's that straightforward, then yes, it's gonna be like, what the fuck was that about? But I think that Nick and I were saying that from like a writing perspective, from like a character perspective, like he has to like offer something that like makes the player like feel like attached to him, or like he provides something for the other characters to like learn from. So like because like a lot of the characters like have like some kind of turmoil that they're like, oh, like this happened to me, or like this happened to me, like I'm emo because of like this or that. And Robert's just there because he's like, oh, like
So he's a likable character.
yeah, so he's supposed to be likable.
Yeah.
And like in
Useless in
contrast,
game.
yeah,
In every way at first, right? Like when he's a guest NPC, like he's just tagging along, but like as a utility, he is
Yeah.
useless.
So like from a mechanical perspective, he is pretty useless for the time that he's around. But from like a storytelling perspective, like he can provide a lot of
yeah, he has wonderful
context.
vibes.
Yeah, he's got good vibes, immaculate vibes. So he can provide a lot of context for the other characters. And then when he dies is like more impactful because like he
Okay.
didn't do anything wrong and he was just trying to have a good time and he still like just happened to like
So
like
the absence of him is gonna enhance all the other characters.
yes.
Character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the hope. And
yeah.
then the subsequent optional side quest where
Yeah.
you can resurrect him is sort of the idea of like your attachment to him despite his uselessness in gameplay sort of
Yeah.
being rewarding in the end, because the idea is that you go on like a mini side quest thing to resurrect him, and then once you do resurrect him, he is like, that's when he like turns from Magikarp to Gyarados basically.
Yeah.
That's when he becomes like super uber powerful. Like he has all the same moves he did before, but like now they're like nuts,
actually
like
good, yeah.
insane. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I had this idea like that because in like Paper Mario, like all the characters have like overworld utility, right? So I thought it'd be funny if like Robert had a overworld utility that was just as useless as like all the other stuff that he does. So like I was thinking like maybe he's like, oh, like I have this key and it's definitely and I'm pretty sure it unlocks something cool, but I don't know what it is. Um, so like I want to like go on this adventure, have a good time, and figure out what this key opens, right? So you can. His ability is that you can go up to anything that's locked and use this key, but it never unlocks anything, right? Because it's useless. Um, so after he dies, right? If you find out, or if like the player figures out like where to unlock, like something to unlock, like it's a door or like a treasure chest or something, that would be like the start of a like side storyline about like seeing Robert's like key situation through to the end, and then you go like do some like side quest shenanigans, and then um at the end of the side quest, you get a pickle jar, and this that's where do you remember the pickle genie idea that I pitched a long time ago? You guys remember that? Okay, so I had this idea like a very very long time ago where it's thank you, Nick. This is a good idea. I love this idea.
It is a good
So,
idea. It is a good idea.
I had this idea a while ago where there's a pickle jar, and if you try to open the pickle jar, a genie comes out of the pickle jar, like it's his lamp, and the genie's like made entirely of pickles, and and he's like instead of having like a wispy tail, it's just like pickle juice and stuff. It's just
You
a silly.
pitched this before? I don't remember this at all.
You
I feel
don't?
like
Okay, I
should.
feel like I don't know.
I think
Maybe
that's understandable to forget because we pitch
yeah.
a lot of bullshit.
We do pitch a lot of bullshit, but I think I pitched it before because I said I wanted to make his name Dylan, like Dill
We and
Pickle.
angry Jazzercise Penguin and
Yeah.
I remember that.
Okay.
okay. Good.
Well, okay. So there's Pickle Genie. So so I thought it would be funny if like you fight the Pickle Genie, and if you win, he grants you one wish, right? So I think like whatever this like side quest is, like the characters like doing it like for Robert, like because they want to like they feel bad that he died, like they're sad about it, they're in their bag about it, and they're like, okay, let's see this through the end for our boy. He was pretty useless, but he was a good dude, and um and then the Pickle Genie gives you one wish, and then the characters wish to bring Robert back to life, and then so that's when he comes back and he's like actually like useful as like a secret hidden character. So that was our idea about like finding a use for Pickle Genie first of all, and then also like implementing like a narrative thing where there's like weight to a character death, and then giving him a chance to like come back if the player goes out of their way to like do something like for somebody else essentially.
I think it also can go in line with the randomness thing well, in that, like you talked about, it's a random event. His death is a random event, and there's sort of the idea of, as a player, you have two options in how that's handled. Like you could take it for what it is and move on, or you can not let that be a bad thing and
Yeah.
eventually turn it into something good by resurrecting.
Yeah. So I thought that was a fun little narrative thing.
And it's a. I think we also talked about how it was. We thought it was a good idea from a mechanical perspective to have a character that's really shitty,
Yeah.
and then you do an optional side quest to make them like really good.
Yeah.
Just to add like variation in how the party characters like
Yeah,
work.
because I was saying like I think the trope of like grinding a character until they get their like power scaling has been done like many times before. So I think a nice take on that idea would be to have like a weak character, and then the grind isn't like by fighting a lot of enemies with a weak character. It's the grind is like going through the effort of like the story stuff for them, and then they get better. So
Would
just like a
his,
different type of grind.
Would his Gyarados ability be like absorbing the Pickle Genie's powers?
We did have the idea that he has a move where he shakes somebody's hand. Like it's just a normal white guy handshake, but it like withers the other person away.
Oh, yeah,
like it just
yeah,
sucks
yeah.
their life force completely.
Yeah, he gets like the powers of life and death or something, yeah. But yeah, so that was kind of our idea there. So that's what
We
we were
spent
working
a
on, I
long
guess.
time
So
on that,
yeah, so and our stuff is a little more long-winded just by the nature of it being like
Yeah.
explaining a narrative, but that's what we were
We
working on.
talked about the Belly of the Beast thing too a little bit. But
Oh,
we
yeah,
never really
yeah,
got
yeah,
as
yeah.
concrete on that.
So
But I don't think we've ever talked about that chapter in one of these meetings.
no, but I think when we were doing like our brainstorming session with, I think we had a couple, or we had one day where everybody was like discussing it. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember because it was also a very long time ago. This was probably like 6 months ago, but we were like listing out ideas for like biomes, I guess. So we had like the cave for chapter 1, and then we had the snowy mountain for chapter 2, and then we're like, I don't know what the fuck else we're gonna do. But one of them was like a belly of the beast idea. So like kind of like an Ocarina of Time where you like go inside a monster and like the whole level is like inside of a living thing's body. So Nick and I were trying to figure out what we could do for that. So we're thinking maybe it was like a big platypus in the sky or something.
Flying platypus.
Because we were thinking like a flying whale has been done so many times, but like a platypus is kind of.
We somehow arrived at the idea that a flying whale has been done a million times,
Yeah.
but for good reason. Like there's a lot of good ways that a
Yeah.
flying whale makes sense in this sort of scenario. But we somehow arrived at the idea that a flying platypus gives you all the same benefits without being a whale.
Without being a whale.
Like it's got the long tubular body. It looks cool. It still would like swim through the sky like a whale would. It's not a fish because we didn't want to do a fish with Samurai.
Yeah.
So we arrived at a platypus somehow, or just like a fake creature that will make.
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
But yeah.
But Nick and I said we should do like a tournament arc.
Basically, like it's like
inside,
a fight club tournament inside the monster, and like if you you have to win the tournament to get shitted out.
Yeah. Well,
So
you're
like
not
you
getting
work your way
shitted
like
out,
through
but
the.
like.
Well, but how else would you leave?
Well, you're just jumping out the bag, you know.
But yeah, okay, but you know what do you
It's
call
like
that?
you're getting airdropped, you know.
I'm not saying we call it shit out in the game, but
Yeah.
that's technically what's happening.
But
So
we
basically,
thought-
like you like work your way like through the digestive tract and like through the body of the monster, like as you progress through the tournament,
Yeah.
basically.
So like maybe there's like a little town like in its stomach, and then like to get out, you have to like go through this tournament, and the last the last battle, like the boss battle to get out, is like right at the sphincter. So like the background is like it's like wherever you're battling, and then like you see like the
It's like a porthole to outside.
Yeah, and like
but
you see
a
like the
muscular
sky
porthole.
outside.
Yeah.
So it's like a really stupid battle scene, but yeah. So that's we were goofing around with that one, but I think that'd be funny to do like a tournament arc inside of another.
You're thinking it's
monster.
like juvenile enough to be funny to fight in
Yeah.
front of the asshole, but like as long as we don't call too much attention to it,
Yeah, I
it's,
think,
it's
like-
funny enough without being like Deadpool funny, you know? Where you're
Well,
kind of
not
like,
like
all right,
I wouldn't say like Deadpool funny, but I think like just like conceptually, it's so stupid
exactly.
that it's funny. And if we play it like super straight, like no fart jokes, like no shit
Yeah,
jokes.
no one acknowledges
like-
it. Like no one. It's just that's just what's happening.
Yeah.
I think it's funnier than
Yeah.
people being like, is that what I think it is? Like, you know, we don't.
You're like, what's that smell, dude?
Yeah, we don't.
So none of that. So if we just play it super straight, And
Play it right, it can work. Yeah.
But there's like an obvious asshole.
Yeah.
yeah.
in
So
the
like
background.
the background of the final battle is like
Uh,
it's like the exit of a cave, but it's like and like because you're in the sky, right? Like so you're flying, so
You
it's
see
like
like cities and stuff underneath
it's
you.
like
yeah, but
literally
it's
like a vignette.
Yeah.
It's like a vignette, and so like you see the rim, and then there's like just like clouds and like the city like below and stuff like that. I feel like that'd be so funny.
I like it.
Okay, good.
Bowser's Inside Story.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, literally.
Is that what that game's about?
Well, it's about Mario and Luigi. They get shrunk down and they get eaten by Bowser. And
Oh
then
my god.
like so you play on the overworld as Bowser, but then you also play as Mario and Luigi inside of him.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a good game. What else? Oh, Andrew, I don't think we ever explained. Did I explain to you the Penguin Emperor thing? Okay,
I think
so
I did. I feel like I remember you saying.
maybe we mentioned it, but essentially just so you know about like some of the ideas that we have. So
Yeah.
I'll work my way back. So chapter 2, there's the big bad guy is like an emperor penguin who's like overtaxing like everybody that lives on his mountain, and he's not using the taxes to like help people. He's using them to like just like make like a giant like dance floor in his castle. And
Oh, you did mention
yeah,
this.
and then so he pulls out the
I
Glock
remember that.
and he like makes you do
I
DDR by
remember.
like shooting at your feet like a
I
cowboy.
remember that.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Parachute pants. Yeah.
okay, but then I don't know if I told you about chapter 1. Let me know if I told you about this. So in the beginning of the game in the prologue, you have to go like save this little kid from a cave, and so there's like a monster that gets crushed by a giant rock that falls from the ceiling. And then you're like, "Oh shit, like let's get out of here because the cave's going to cave in." And then you notice there's like a little baby monster that's like all sad because its parent monster died, right?
Mhm.
So then you get sent to the future, and that's where the game starts. So
Hmm.
in chapter 1, you have to go back into the cave to find something different, but now it's been like 50 years or whatever. So when you go back into the cave, it's like all like it's way more detailed. Like all that rock has been carved into like beautiful art and stuff. And then you get to like the main chamber of the cave, and there's there is like a cathedral like carved into the inside of like underneath the village, right?
Yeah.
And the baby monster is now an adult monster, and he like he channeled all the pain from that one day where his parent monster got crushed into his art. So he like made this like whole cave system.
And he's like, didn't we say he's like self-flagellating at the
Oh yeah,
at
yeah,
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
altar? He's like a religious like zealot.
Yeah.
Like, a
Oh,
Valhalla
Nick, I
zealot.
think it'll be funny. Actually, I just had this idea right now. Okay, so when the rock crushes the parent monster, right? I think it would be funny if it crushes the parent monster and like so like the body's like underneath the squished underneath the rock, kind of like the Wizard of Oz, right?
Mhm.
So then in the future, that rock should still be there, but he carved it into like a monument of his parent. But like there's like little like skeletal feet underneath, like he never moved them.
That's pretty good.
Or there's like a little like blood stain still.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I like that.
That's good.
See, look, we're having ideas
That's good.
already. All right, so that's like narrative recap, just for your information, Andrew. But
Mhm.
I think that's kind of it in terms of what we worked on for narrative stuff. So I guess we can just quickly go over next steps, and then we can just get on with our day.
Are
So-
you guys outlining the story anymore?
More or less ish.
So I think the prologue section, like for like our vertical slice, well, the vertical slice isn't meant to have plot in it. That's just meant to like show what the game would look and feel like. But in the sense that like the vertical slice occurs on like the village that is in the prologue, the prologue stuff, I think we feel like is mostly outlined to completion. Would you say that's correct, Nick?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Is that a good answer, Kevin?
No, I saw the prologue. It's
Oh.
in the drive, but the other sections of the story.
Oh no, the other sections we've only been like discussing it, but we've been recording those conversations.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're gonna go back through it.
We're
and
still
then-
trying to figure out like the order of all the chapters
Yeah.
and like what chapters
Yeah.
we actually want to include
Yeah.
and
So,
like to flesh them out more.
so right now, I think that we are. Well, actually, we spent not. We spent a little time away from the story, like because of the
Yeah.
holidays and then game jam and stuff. So we just started up again, like last week, I guess.
And that was only because Maria was gone. Because like
Yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah.
slice, which is our main goal right now, still all we
Yeah.
really need is prologue level
Yeah.
stuff, and we kind of have that figured out.
Yeah. So we
so
have been.
We're kind of focusing more on like getting the ball rolling on art stuff.
Yeah. So
Once Maria's back,
like
at least.
focusing on like modeling and like mapping out
Yeah.
the map. So once Maria gets back, I just want to go over the map stuff with her, and then Nick and I can start building stuff out.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Bet.
but we do discuss narrative stuff like every now and then, or like I'll text Nick like little ideas, and then, yeah. But we're getting there.
Cool.
We are getting there.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess Maria should be back next week, Nick. So ideally on Tuesday, we can go over some stuff with her.
Sure.
And then keep the ball rolling on doing the overworld stuff while
Mhm.
Zach and Kevin are doing the battle map
Cool.
stuff. Right, 'cause Kevin, you said the other day that those are like pretty easy to integrate. Like once we have the two of them, right? Like the overworld and the battle map.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
they're
keep those
separate.
separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then Andrew, you're just working on
Yep.
village stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna be working on capturing the vibe of the village, and then also I'm gonna dig up some of the resources, like concept art stuff.
Okay.
So
If
I
you need
can start
help
thinking.
looking through that, just text me.
Yeah. I'm just gonna start thinking about the theme for the main dude,
Yes.
so that I can maybe start integrating it into the village stuff. But I think I'm gonna capture the main vibe of the village first, and then I can branch off from that into
Okay.
doing different sections of the village, because it's going to be split up a bit. So I just want to kind of experiment with that. That'll also be easier once I have like concept art of the different sections
Mhm.
of the village.
Okay.
Like if you guys at any point decide to do like mock-ups of like what the dock will look like, or
Yeah.
you know, other places, like that'll really help just
Yeah.
so I can look at the environment, you know.
Yeah, once Maria's back next week, I'll talk to her about something like that, because the last that
Yeah.
we were working on a shoot, we did like a top-down view of the village just to kind of like plot where stuff would be. And then I
Yeah.
think now that we know where stuff is gonna go, I guess Nick, you and I can even block some stuff in if we want,
Mhm.
and then Maria can do more of like vibes-based stuff, like with the aesthetical,
Aesthetical.
like the specifics of like what everything is gonna look like. You know, like
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
like some of the like if there's like a shack by the dock, like how does that look compared to like
Right.
a house that someone lives
Yeah.
in? Because she actually did a couple houses. If you want to look at the concept channel,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
just
we
stuff
can
like that.
be a little more detailed about the variety of stuff that you might see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool. Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, Nick, question for you. Do you think we're gonna have
Yes.
like a modular approach to some of the building?
I think the
materials?
more we can incorporate, holy fuck, the more we can incorporate a modular approach,
Okay.
I think the better. Yeah.
Okay.
It won't be applicable for everything, obviously, but that kind of stuff really is
Alright.
king. In my
I
opinion.
will share or show you the Eastern Village pack that I used to make that mock-up a couple months ago. 'Cause
Well,
I
we're
think-
doing found material stuff also, so it's probably going to be more about like building out a library of found materials, right, and then using those in different
okay.
ways.
So there's there
you
there,
know?
there could be two different approaches here. So we could do like the found
Mhm.
materials thing and just like drag and drop stuff so it looks like stuff, or we could have like building block modularity that is like made with found material stuff. You know?
Well,
what
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll still show you the template.
No, totally.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
The for Game Jam,
Mm.
the Rome thing that I sent the animation tests in front of, when Steamy was doing jazz hands and I was
Oh, yeah.
testing out the anim stuff on my end, all of that environment was built with modular
Oh,
stuff.
okay. Okay. Cool.
So my point is that like that kind of stuff for games and like big environments is like very, in my opinion, like helpful.
Okay. Sweet.
Again, it won't be applicable to everything, but like it might take the load off if we have like a library of I don't know, 15 branches or whatever that I model, and we can just kind of reuse them as needed.
Okay. All right. So we'll work on that. Zach and Kevin, what is your feeling for next steps on, I guess, Monday it would be, or leading up to Monday, I guess.
Continue what we're doing
Okay.
and implement what we have in the UML diagram.
Okay. Let's go. How long do you think it's going to take to get like a functioning, like obviously like it's a learning process, so it's not like a hard thing, but how long do you think it's going to take to implement like battle stuff like that?
I would say around like 6 to 8 working days.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a month or two, so that sounds right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, no rush, obviously. I want it to like let's make it work. So, but I'm just curious like what the time frame would be because I'm not familiar with that kind of stuff. So, all
I
right,
think
cool.
the biggest thing will be like UI stuff,
Mhm.
because everything else is just it's just like passing data, which is
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
what we're
just
used to.
probably have placeholders like a circle.
Yeah.
Be a button.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I think in that case that is it, and we can break. So I think that we're doing super good, and thank you guys again for everything that you've been doing recently because I think we've been doing awesome. So
Cool.
Sweet.
thank you guys.
Cool.
All right.
All right. If you guys need anything, always text me or just like shoot it in the general chat or wherever applicable channel. Yeah. But in that case, have a good week, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Maddie,
What?
did you end up getting the game jam feedback?
Oh my God! I forgot to talk about that. I briefly was texting Nick about it. Actually, it's fine. We can talk about it now because Andrew wasn't part of it, and I briefly talked about it with Nick. But yes, we did get game jam feedback. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So, we like ranked relatively well. Well, there's not like a ranking, past like the first like 5 people, and then like some like honorable mentions, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so it's scored on like there's 4 criteria, and it's rated on a 1 to 5 scale. 5 being like the best, like 5 stars, right? And we got like a 5 out of 5 on 3 of the 4 criteria.
Really?
Oh shit.
Yeah. So okay, let's see. Let me find our entry. But I think like we only got reviewed by one judge, and I don't know who the judge was, obviously. But here. Okay, can you see this? Okay, so like in playability, we got 5 out of 5, so that ranks it as number 1 because if everybody got if multiple people got a 5 out of 5, you're all rank 1, right?
Wow, we did really well.
Yeah, and then artistic style we got a 109, so we got a 4, right? Which is so that means I think 108 people got above a 4 on artistic style. But if you look at the results, like if you filter it by where is it? Theme, is it? Like theme, like we're right here. This was one of the honorable mentions, this one. And if you look, like technically we scored better than them. Because we got 111 and like 47, or like a 555 and a 3, right? And we got 555 and a 4. So I'm not really sure how it's like weighted. Like if you go by cleverness, we're like literally right there.
Maybe each judge like brings their favorite like 10 or
Yeah.
so, and
So
then they pick top 5 or something from there.
Yeah, so I think that we did pretty well, but whatever, like we must not have gotten past like that first round because we only have one judge that rated it. Or like I don't know if like it's also based on like community stuff because I saw some of the winners had like on the first couple of days they had like 20 comments, and I posted our game in the Discord once, like the day after submission, I think. Like just to be like, oh, like hey, like this is what we did. But like if it was like rated by like other people playing it, I would have pushed it more, but I'm
I
just
don't
not.
think it should
I don't think that should
Yeah,
matter.
I don't think that would matter, right? Like the engagement, but um, so
Judge feedback. Great game.
yeah.
Enjoyable
Well, and that's the thing. So I was telling Nick, I was like a little disappointed with
feedback.
the feedback because I was like, oh, like
Yeah.
ideally, like they was like tell us like what we did well, what we didn't do well, or like, but it was just like, oh yeah, like good job, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think they were like super backed up.
They were super backed up.
Yeah.
But some of I looked at some of the other submission feedbacks, and like the winners obviously get like a little bit more generally, and versus like ours, which didn't really get many eyes on it. Oh, this guy who actually commented on ours, he got like third place, I think, or like he was one of the honorable mentions or something. So that's cool.
Oh, he was not a judge?
No, he's just like a
Just a guy.
he's just a guy that commented on it, but he ended up being one of the winners, so that was cool.
Oh, nice.
I just like funny coincidence. But
Commented a lot of stuff.
yeah, we finished, we submitted, it was playable, and they left a review, so I guess we can't be mad. But yeah, I was admittedly a little bit disappointed with the level
Yeah.
of the feedback, but you know, I'm
That's
so
fair.
really glad that we did this. So I had a good time, and we have something that we can play, which is
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, so
Nice. It would be cool if the judging process was like more transparent, but
I know. Yeah,
yeah.
we probably got like one of the mods or something, and not like Ludwig or like
Yeah.
yeah. So that was that. But yeah, we did in fact get results back. So
Nice.
yep.
Yeah, I wonder why we didn't get through like I don't know if it's like based on rounds or something.
Wait,
but
what was number 1? Who won?
how do you see the winners?
He posted a thing in the Discord a while ago. Let's say Game Jam
What is judge's choice?
in general. It's
It
empty
doesn't
right
show.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he posted in the Game Jam channel.
Yeah. I'm trying to find where he put it. Maybe it's in announcements. Oh, Game Jam. Now concluding the judging. On the 27th. Was it on the 27th?
Yeah, I see the last message. It says we'll announce on the 27th.
Yeah, he did post it. I don't know what channel he posted it in.
He should have done it in the Game Jam.
I don't know if he put it in like Game Jam general chat or some shit, which that would be a little silly.
Yeah.
IMO, but
Oh, Game Jam Winners Day on streams. Maybe they said it in the stream.
he did say in the stream, but like he streams for like 8 or 9 hours at a time. Maybe it's in news. Oh yeah, it's in news. Here. So it's the winner was You Left Us. Grandma, don't click that. The guy that commented on us, he got an honorable runner up.
Yeah.
Or something. First break.
Looked like his ratings were lower than ours though. I don't really know how it works.
But they have 6 ratings, so
I guess it's just like
I think the way it's
guy rated us high, but they picked other games
Yeah.
over us. Yeah.
So this is the winner, which looks really cool. It looks like 3D, I think, but it's got like a pixelated effect on it.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I haven't played it, but apparently it's like
Grandma, don't click that.
yeah.
Oh wait, the second, yeah, that one only got like, that got less of a.
Yeah, I really
Lord.
don't understand. Maybe we got snubbed. I don't know. So this one got 6 ratings. Yeah,
What?
like this one got rank 1 and everything, and it has 1 rating on it, and it won the whole game jam. So I'm very confused as to
Oh,
like
that only
how.
got 1?
That's what it says. Ranked from 1 rating. But like look
That's
at all the
weird.
comments on it. So I don't know if that like has to do with it. You know,
That is weird. Yeah.
Mm,
I totally don't understand. Maybe if I watch the VOD for the stream, he'll go into it, but I have no idea.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh.
Yeah. Why? Why are we ranked so high?
yeah, we kind of crushed it. Not gonna lie. Definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Maybe
like.
they just accidentally gave us everything really high.
Nah, nah. See, look, by criteria. So playability. What- But like, and I don't know why on theme and cleverness we're rated so high on the list.
I understand the cleverness. Like it's
No,
pretty
no, no,
clever.
like yeah, like in terms of like, I think we did a good job. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what determines like the order in which these show up if everybody has like the same score. You know what I'm
Probably
saying?
just date submitted or date
I guess.
judged. Um. Yeah. Theme, artistic style. Interesting. I wish we knew the criteria beforehand too.
He mentioned it, but I think like the way that he explained it was not like exactly the same as like what it was at the end, because he did say it's like the way like first of all I think playability just means does it play, right? And then or like how many like how buggy is it, right? And then cleverness he said like that's like the mechanical cleverness. So like that was our whole like thing with like the mini games. I think is what it was. For I
Mhm.
think I would assume that's how we applied. And then theme
Oh,
is like how well it fits the theme of its spreading in this case, and then the style is just like your art style. So
interesting. Cool.
yeah,
Yeah. I wish it was more. We had more info, but what can you
I
do?
know analytics. Oh, it got 16 views on the 20 or maybe that's Nick and I when we got the information. Actually, I don't remember what day they gave us the results. Someone downloaded. A couple of people downloaded it.
My coworker downloaded it.
Did you make rice, Kevin?
I did.
Nice.
Oh, a bunch of people visited it from the cleverness page. That's cool.
Yeah, at least we're up there.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Well, we did it.
I think we're in top 50 at least then.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Pretty solid for our first game.
I
Yeah,
will say, yeah. All right.
Oh,
for
Nala's
sure.
looking very comfortable.
I know. Why is she here?
It's because my door's closed.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming. I will
you, Maddie.
talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. Have a
Bye.
good week, guys. Bye.
Bye.